Hi, my name's Kerry. I'm one of the telephone account managers here at Mortgage Brain. And today I'm going to be showing you the sourcing brain system and the integration functions it has with both affordability and criteria brain. The page that we're on at the moment is the initial landing page after logging into Sourcing Brain. I'm just going to point out a few things on this screen here. One of the first things I want to show you is this home track function. So if we click into home track now, all you need to do is pop in a postcode and select the relevant address and press Get Valuation. This is going to give us a good indicative guide as to the value of the property and also a breakdown of the property itself. So things like number of bedrooms and year built. So super handy information for you to have for those GI quotes. You do have an option to save this as a PDF and upload it back into your client file if you wanted to. And this system is also free of charge to use as well. So you can use it as many times as you like without any additional cost. And also just to let you know that at the moment, 21 out of the top 25 lenders are currently also using this system. Now going to click on the Sourcing Brain icon to take us back to the landing page. So as you can see, we're now back on the home screen. You do have a list of calculators on this page that you have the ability to dip in and use. I'm not going to bore you by going through all of those. They are very clearly labelled, and I'm sure you're used to using those on the lenders' websites. On the far left, these will be the 4 options that you'll use most from this screen, if I'm being honest with you. So you have the option to do a new source, so without adding any client information. You've also got the option for browse. So I'm just going to dip into browse now. Browse is a really handy tool to have to get a quick indicative guide as to the costs and values that are currently available within the market. So you can see on the page that loads here now, we have the main purchase types to select from: residential, buy-to-let, first-time buyer, home mover, and remortgage. I'm going to leave it as a residential home mover for the purpose of today, but in the bottom right-hand corner, I'm just going to click onto Browse. Now you'll see when the page loads, we are going to be met with quite a few zeros. Now this is only because we haven't yet added any values into the system in order for it to start calculating for us. If you do want to add those values in, you just need to go along the top and press Amend Scenario. So the browse mode does tend to be used outside of the advice process, and that's purely because this box doesn't have any mandatory fields. So you can complete what you want to in order to filter the products that show on the screen behind. I'm just going to pop some property details in for the purpose of today's demonstration. And press Apply. Now we should shortly see those zeros disappear and being replaced with values based on the information we've just put in, like so. Another handy tool to be aware of on this page is the grouping function here at the top. So if we click into group and then press onto group by lender as an example, this will put the display into a nice tidy list for us. So if you did want to expand a specific lender's products, you just need to press on the arrow to the far left. If you want to change the view back, we just need to click back into group and then press onto no grouping. You do also have the option to highlight any of these products and press on to show details, creating this pop-out box on the right-hand side. So any additional information that we've been given from the lenders will be displayed in here. And you also have the option in the bottom right-hand corner to switch to a full source if you wanted to. Any of the information that you've added into your scenario will pull through for you, so you don't need to double key. I'm now going to click onto the icon in the top left to take us back to that landing screen. The next option down here we have is to select a new client. So you can create your client file to start off with if you wanted to. Any information that you add in will pull through onto the sourcing tabs to save you rekeying. But I'm going to take us into clients to start off with. Now, in Clients, you do have this handy search tool at the top. So if we type in the applicant's name to narrow down the list, then we're just going to highlight the client and press onto Source in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, the page that loads we would have seen previously, but I want to go through this in a little bit more detail with you. So we've got the main purchase types here on the left-hand side. Just want to point out, if you do select a remortgage, it does automatically include second charge for you. If you don't wish to view those products or give advice on the second charge market, then you do have the option to simply left click to remove those. Over on the right-hand side here, you'll see we have the option for the current mortgage. If you're wanting your client's current lender's retention products to appear on the results page, you will need to make sure you've added the current lender into this drop-down. And please also add in the outstanding balance amount. Please also bear in mind that that outstanding balance does need to match the loan amount we'll be asking for on the next screen. Just going to pop it back as a home mover for today's demonstration. And instead of pressing browse this time, in the bottom right hand corner, I'm going to hit source. So the blue boxes you can see on this screen are the only mandatory fields we have in Sourcing Brain. So it's still very easy and quick for you to get onto the results screen if you wanted. And as stated previously, any information added into the client file or into browse mode will pull through for you. There are a couple of settings within the system that you can change the defaults for, things like search by and order by. I'll show you towards the end of the demonstration where we can go to select and change those. Moving over to the right-hand side of the screen here, we can see rate control. Now in this period drop-down box, there are quite a few options for you to select from. When training, I tend to suggest the custom period. And this being a 2-year example, in the from box, I take 6 months off, and in the to box, I add 6 months on. This just makes sure that any of those lenders that have date-specific products aren't ruled out if they fall slightly short or over where you're looking. On the right-hand side, we have all of the rate types. The system works the same way throughout, really. A simple left click to select, deselect, and select the relevant ones. Moving down to payment type, you can see here we have the option for repayment, interest only, and split. If you are doing a split loan, please bear in mind the amount that comes into this box here is the interest only part of the loan. Our products and policy team at Mortgage Brain do work very closely with the lenders as well. So if you know the repayment strategy, please make sure that you select that. Going across the top of the screen to client details, so fairly self-explanatory screen in front of us at the moment, but on the far right-hand side here, you'll be able to see this box labelled override income multiples. Now, some of the feedback we've had at Mortgage Brain is that some brokers do like to do just an open generic source, and they sometimes don't like the income multiples to take effect. If you feel the same way, you do have the option to come into this screen and just select this box here. Going across the top to property filters. Now this is where you're going to find the likes of your shared ownership. The rule of thumb with Mortgage Brain and shared ownership is that the property price is the full market value. You'll just need to add in your ownership percentage and then we can help calculate the rest with you. Across the top to product filters, now this is where you're going to find the likes of your adding fees. So if we click onto add fees, and again, same rule of thumb, simple left click to select the relevant boxes. Moving our attention over to the right hand side of the screen here, you can see we have the max tie-in period. So if you're wanting to source products that don't have an early redemption charge attached to them, you do have the option of just popping a 0 in this box. Back on the sourcing screen now, we are going to start our integration process into Criteria Brain. So as you can see from the screen in front of us, Criteria Brain does give you the option to select multiple pieces of criteria to search. I'm just going to scroll down here. I'm going to take us over to filter by topic. So filter by topic is just going to show us shorter lists within each of the sections. So if we clicked into employee allowances as an example, and then selected onto car allowance, you can see now we've added that piece of criteria into our search. My preferred way of doing it, however, is under the filter by category, only because you've got this really handy keyword search. If you just type in a word here, you can see by selecting on that, it's going to add that into the search boxes for us. Once you're happy with the pieces of criteria that you have, you just need to press onto search. And then if you scroll down, you'll be able to see the results that we've pulled back. If the results don't display in alphabetical order and you'd like them to, you do have the option to select these arrows here, and you can use those on any of the column headers as well to reorder if you wanted to. As you can see, green is a accept and red is a fail. You might also see a couple of green boxes that have these red warning signs. Now, these will indicate there have been sort of warnings placed against the notes, either by ourselves at Mortgage Brain or by the lender, and you need to pay attention to those. So if you do want to have a look at those notes, you just need to press onto Expand Notes. Once you're happy with the criteria that you've got in place, you just need to press onto Send Search Results back to Mortgage Brain. So as you can see now, Criteria Brain has pulled back for us. We can see the criteria on the left-hand side of the screen that we've searched for and the value showing on the right-hand screen and how that's been affected. If you do decide at this point that actually your client may not necessarily purchase a property if there are, say, agricultural restrictions, you do have the option to deselect that piece of criteria, and the value showing on the right-hand side of this box will update to reflect that. I'm going to leave all criteria selected for the purpose of today's demonstration, and then in the bottom right-hand corner, I'm just going to press on to apply. As you can see, we now have this tick in the box indicating that that criteria has been applied to our source. In the top right-hand corner now, we're going to go into Affordability Brain. So if we click into here and then press on to launch. When you've pressed on launch, please give the system a moment or two because you will be met with this pop-out box. This will just pour over any of the information that we've added into sourcing, so it will save you having to rekey. So if we press continue to that, the next thing you're going to need to do is along the top of the screen, add in a reference name. This reference name will save under your previous searches. So if your client comes back to you at a later date with an update with regards to an outstanding loan or credit card, you'll be able to go into your previous searches, select the relevant name, and then just update the fields that are necessary. You won't need to recomplete it all. I'm going to scroll through this now just so that you can get a feel for the information available within the system for you to use. Obviously, anything that's mandatory is indicated with the red required text. We have the option to add number of dependents and additional incomes. I'm just going to scroll down and select yes to employee allowances because we have searched for car allowance with our criteria. So I'm just going to pop £200 a month in there. We scroll down a bit further, you'll be able to see information that can be added with regards to credit cards, and then the expenditure is also mandatory as well. So I'm going to pop some information into there for the purpose of today's demo. And then some additional information with regards to childcare, ground rent, that kind of thing. But once you're happy with the information on this page, you just need to press on to next. So at Mortgage Brain, we do believe in transparency. So the lender icons you can see on the screen in front of us at the moment, that's indicating that they've either changed something on the surface of their calculators, so what we can visually see, or they've changed something to do with the programming that sits behind them. At Mortgage Brain, we choose to stop integration if any changes have been made, until we can make sure that the information that we're putting back into the system is correct for you. So we work very closely with the lenders to get them up and running as fast as possible. If you scroll down, you can simply left click on individual lenders if you wanted to, or you do have the option to select all and then press on to next. If we then click on to calculate, so in a few moments, you should be able to see some progress bars start appearing for us. And if you scroll down, you'll be able to see the lenders that have been completed against the total number of lenders that are currently in process. It is important that you do wait for this little whirly circle to complete and finish, and for the total number of lenders to be reached before closing this screen. If we scroll down now, you should start to see this graph appearing. Green indicates that the lender will loan up to the loan amount that we've asked for. Anything in red is in addition to what we've asked for. The red line that runs through the graph, if you're seeing a grey box, it's going to fall behind this red line, and that's going to indicate a shortfall in the loan amount we're asking for. And anything in purple is maximum based on property and income, but we do have these keys along the bottom of the screen, so you don't have to remember that. We're not expecting you to. You can refer back to this. If we scroll down a little bit further, you'll be able to see the lender icons again. And if we clicked onto the results screenshot, you'll be able to get a quick overview as to where the values have gone into the lender's calculators. And once you're happy with the information, we just need to click on to send search results back to Mortgage Brain. If we wait for these ticks to complete, it should take us back into our sourcing system. Once the information is transferred back into Sourcing Brain, you'll be met with this pop-out box, and the next thing you need to do is just press on to apply. We can now see that we've got a tick box that's been applied in both affordability and the criteria system. In the bottom right-hand corner now, we're just going to click on to results. Now, when you're using the affordability and criteria within sourcing, because you do have the option to integrate the systems or use them standalone. When you are using them within sourcing, on your results page, you will get 2 additional columns appear for you, which are really handy for you to refer back to. On the results page that's loaded, you'll be able to see that we've got these 2 additional columns now, one for criteria and one for affordability. You may see that there is a lender that we haven't been able to pull a value back for. Now, this is because we don't yet have those lenders within the affordability system. So instead of discounting those lenders, you will still be able to view their products, but we just won't be able to apply a value for you. On the far right-hand side of the screen, if we click on to show details, you'll be able to see now that this pop-out box has appeared. Within there, we now have these 2 additional boxes, so one for affordability and one for criteria. If we drop down on the criteria box, if you're wanting to dip back in and have a look at the criteria that's been applied and any additional notes, you'll be able to do this by selecting the View Criteria report. Under details, you'll be able to find any additional information that we've been provided from the lender. A handy tool to be aware of from this screen is the graphing tool along the bottom. So if we click into graphing, press OK, and then select onto Add Event. Now let's just say we want to do a graph for regular overpayments. So I'm going to pop a value of 300 in here. Let's just say from April to April for a 3-year period. If we press OK to that and then click on to graph, we'll be able to see the effects that that overpayment has had. The value along the bottom of the screen here, they're either pulled through from the sourcing tab, so the information we've added in to there, and the product information has pulled from the product that we have highlighted on the screen behind. You do have the option to overtype any of these boxes if you wanted to, and in the bottom right hand corner you do also have the option to print as well. Along the top of the screen here, I just want to bring your attention to the add scenario function. So if we click into add scenario, it's taken us back to a page that we've already seen previously, and I'm just going to decrease the term from 30 to 25 years and then press on to results again. Now we can see on the results screen that we have scenario 1 and scenario 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select a product from scenario 2, click back onto scenario 1 and select another product. Along the top in the taskbar now, we have the option to compare with the number 2. The number 2 is obviously reflecting the number of schemes we have currently selected. Clicking into here now, it's placed those products side by side. So this is just a really handy tool for you to have. Not only does it make your life easier, but it's very handy to strike those conversations with clients with regards to extra costs. And this scenario function can be used in multiple different ways. So we can compare it with longer and shorter terms, different length products, so 2 year, 5 years as an example. You can use it if you're adding a fee to a loan and without adding a fee to a loan, that kind of thing. So really handy, powerful tool for you to have. You can pull through 10 schemes onto this page. My personal preference is that 4 of them print nicely on a piece of A4 paper, and you can print by using the option in the top right of the screen here. However, I do want to point out that any of the printouts don't come with any of the standard text. So if you are giving these to your clients to take away, please be aware of that. I'm going to go back onto the results screen now. And I'm just going to demonstrate the advanced filters for us. So if we click into advanced filters, we'll be able to see now we have these additional boxes appearing underneath our column headers. One of the questions we do get a lot at Mortgage Brain is where is your green filter? So we don't have a tick box for a green filter, but if we was to type the word green into this box here, we'll be able to see all of the green products appear for us. So they're nice and easy to view. But if you wanted to exclude the products from the results page, you would be able to do that by along the top of the screen here, pop a tick in the box next to lender's name. All of those products are now selected for us. Along the top of the screen, we're going to go to exclude. And in this pop-out box, we're just going to add some text in. So this box does generate onto your product selection report. So the text that you're adding in is going to be more extensive than what I've added for the purpose of today. If we now remove the word green, we can see that they've now disappeared from our results page. Another handy way to use this tool is to click onto the icon here, and then let's say if we go into is greater than or equal to, we pop £1,000 in there. We can now see all of the products that have a product fee of £1,000 or higher. If we go back to lender's name and pop a tick in that box, go back up to exclude, and again, the text that you add will be more extensive than what I've added today. If we remove that £1,000 now, we can see that all of those products have now disappeared from the screen. You do also have the option to exclude by lender. So you can see this little icon here. If we click into there, we can deselect any of these lenders and you will be met with the same text box that we've seen previously. So you will be asked to give an explanation as to why they've been excluded. I did touch upon earlier that you can change some of your default settings within the system. So this person icon you can see in the top right hand corner does appear on multiple screens through the sourcing system. If we click into there and go into settings, this is where you'll be able to find any of the defaults that you're able to change. If we go across the top to results column order, so this is the order of the products that are displayed behind this pop-up box. So if you wanted to reorder that screen, you would just need to simply press onto move columns, select the relevant column, and moving up is going to move that further to the left, so more viewable and in eyeline. Moving down is going to move it further to the right, so slightly more out of eyeline. Please just make sure if you are spending some time reordering these, you are saving the order before closing the box. And please also be aware that regardless of the tab that you're changing or making updates to, the changes won't take effect until you've logged out and logged back into the system. That's when we will save and apply changes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and produce my illustration. So you don't have to tick the box in order to produce an illustration. You just have to highlight the product and then click illustration in the bottom right hand corner. So any information that we've added for our client is going to pre-fill for us. Moving across the top to fees, this is where you'll be able to add your broker fees in. You can add up to 3 broker fees by selecting onto setup. Once you've added your broker fee in the first time, it will stay in the system as default. So if you decided at a later date, say you didn't want to charge this fee, you're doing a mortgage for a family member, you can come in and deselect this box if you wanted to, but just please make sure that when you're wanting to charge that fee again, you are coming back into here to reselect that box. Clicking across the top now to proc fees. On the left hand side, you've got the option to manually add those in if you wanted to, but our products and policy team do work closely with the lenders. So if you wanted to select onto the select option, you can select the relevant for yourself, press OK, and that will pre-populate for you. Once you're happy with the information in here, we just need to click on to generate illustration documents. Now it's important to note that you don't close this screen until that whirly circle has disappeared and you're met with a message that says saved documents, like so. You can also see on this screen that we've created some additional documents. So the affordability and criteria have only produced for us today because we've used the systems integrated. Again, please bear in mind that if you're not using them this way, then you won't see these documents. As we can see, we've got the message to say that these have now saved. So we can open them from this page if we wanted to, but I'm actually going to click on the icon in the top left-hand corner because I want to take you back to show you where these documents are saved. So back on the landing screen now, if we click into clients, our most recent worked on will be at the top. We would need to go to the left, click on to edit. And then if we go over to documents, we'll be able to see the documentation that we've just produced. So if we click into the product selection report as an example, if I scroll down slightly, I just want to show you where that text has pulled through to. So we can see here the text relating to those green products and also relating to the product fee of greater or equal than £1,000, a list of the lenders that have been discounted along with a total number of schemes. Scrolling down slightly further, you can see here the criteria that we've searched for, and on the right, if it's passed or passed with a warning. And again, at the bottom of the screen, the total value based on the affordability search that we done. If we click into the affordability results now, so you can see what that report looks like. Having a look now at the affordability report, just so that you can get an overview of the information that's been poured onto this for you. So you can see here all of the figures have been pulled back. You'll also have the option to have a look at the payment schedule as well. Here we can see the payment schedule. And then if we dip in and have a look at the ESIS as well. So on the screen here, we can see the ESIS that's produced. Fairly standard template, so I'm sure you'll all recognise it. Just scroll through here so that you can get a bit of an overview. So if we click into the criteria report, you'll be able to see on here, not only have we produced the report based on the lenders that have matched the criteria that we've looked for, but we have also produced a document showing those that have failed. So really handy tool for you to have as evidence of research. And if you scroll down towards the bottom, you'll also see a breakdown of all of those notes as well, regardless of if they've passed or failed. So again, just really handy documentation for you to have. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. We hope you found it useful. And for any more hints and tips, please log on to www.mortgagebrain.com.